This is the Ant Esports H1000 Pro Auto RGB gaming headset. And as the long name suggests, it's definitely for gaming, headsetting and Pro Auto RGB-ing. Hey everyone, Mukul here. So Ant Esports recently sent this headphone to me for obvious reasons, but my review on it will be totally honest because I love your money more than mine. So why not just send it to me for safekeeping purposes? In the box you get the wired headphone and a manual and a welcome letter to Oxford University of Ants. There's also an audio splitter cable too, as the primary 3.5mm connector on the headphone supports both the mic and audio input by itself. And it doesn't need any help till you make it visit your PC, and then it certainly needs all the help it can get. The headphone is compatible with all of these platforms, but it doesn't quite state though which Xbox or Nintendo though. And as because I have none of them, I have no idea. The wire on the headphone is quite light and braided, but sadly it feels short if you plan to plug it in the backside of your CPU. So unless you are planning to plug it in the front of your case, I would suggest you to buy a 3.5mm extension cable, and actually two of them if you plan to plug it into your PC. And yeah, that's one way of losing your puny wealth on cables, but at least it will make you cable wealthy. The purpose of the USB connector here is to light up the subtle RGB lighting effects, which Ant Esports already mentioned is Pro Auto RGB. So if you are a noob, then you are not quite worthy of them yet. You can also mute or unmute the mic right from the controls which are on the wire, and also adjust the volume of the headphone with the dial. It's more visually convenient to have the controls here, but they just add to the weight of the wire, so that's a bit of a drawback. Wow, I made that word so dramatic. There's an omnidirectional mic on the left hand side, and we shall talk about it soon. You obviously can't control the lighting on these, but it actually looks decent in my opinion. It's not too bright or tacky. The matte finish over the ear cups also complements the overall look of the headphone. The headband is similar to the previous Ant Esports headphone I reviewed. And the layer underneath this flexible headband is kind of sort of mesh, so you don't need to worry about them sweating a lot. But the ear cups definitely will. The ear cups have this Rexine kind of material, and they did feel a bit sweaty in an hour of usage. But to be honest, they weren't extremely sweaty though, as my other pair of headphones, for example the Edifier W830BT, which I use mostly for music. Well, here are the dimensions of my head and ear, and I must admit that the headphones were extremely comfortable in longer usage. The claimed driver size on these is 50mm, and I guess that's how they were quite wide and open for my ears. My ears fit just fine inside these ear cups and felt super comfortable. But I'm not trying to imply that the headphones felt loose over my head because of this reason. They fit quite fine, and even the clamping force was just perfect. Now I'm a man with simple ears, and right out of the box, the sound of these felt much better than the previous headphones I have owned or reviewed in the similar price bracket. If I compare these to the Ant Esports H570 headphones, or let's say the Bolt Pro based Bluetooth headphone, these sounded miles better. And that's a fair comparison too, as they cost somewhere around the same price segment as these. And because of their pricing, which is around 1700 Indian rupees, I definitely can't compare the sound clarity on these anywhere close to the Soundcore Q10 and the Edifier W830BT Bluetooth headphones, as they would at least cost almost twice as much. The H1000 will sound a bit more hollow or wide as compared to these pricey headphones. But do focus on the words a bit more, just a bit more. The headphones clearly favor the lows more than anything else on the sound spectrum range. And that's also what they are marketing these as too. So just raising the highs a bit higher than the lows kind of sort of fixed some clarity issue on these for my ears. In a long session of Division 2, I felt the bass was quite heavy, so I had to lower it down a bit again. But the sound separation and the overall depth were quite nice. To be honest, in an instance or two, I kind of felt as if they were able to even reproduce a little bit of surround sound effect. The overall sound did feel a bit hollow, but I don't think many would be complaining about it for something in this price. However, due to the ear cups being quite wide, there was almost no isolation provided by them. And so I had to increase the volume to max to avoid any sort of noise from the environment. So just keep that in mind if you sit and game around a noisy place. But when I tested the mic on these, I wasn't quite satisfied.
And this is how the mic on the headphone will sound like. I'm directly recording on my PC and looking at the phone because I'm a good multitasker. And there's a fan right on the top of my head, which is doing its fanny stuff. Oh man. And Yeah, that's about it. I think this much of a sample should be enough for you to judge if how's the quality of the mic on this headphone is.
For casual voice chats and some of the call sessions, this will be just fine. But if you plan to live stream with the mic on these headphones, then I would strongly suggest not to. I mean, the sound signature is so decent, so fine for the price, especially for the price. I am stressing it more and more again that I personally won't mind using this as my secondary headphones or even primary sometimes for both music and gaming. Considering the cost, it's a good overall package, but I can never imagine live streaming with the mic on these. And the comfort on these makes me glad I could find something in this price bracket which sounds good for the price. So this can definitely be something which I can easily suggest to friends who don't have mic usage as a priority. So if you like my efforts on the video, then do leave a like and sub with a bell, or even better, buy me a coffee so that I can put in more efforts into such honest content for you here. You can also hop onto our Discord server for more chit chats over similar topics. So stay safe humans, that's all for today. MewBot out.